Anxiety or worry isn't just in your brain, it's in your body. It brings about physical symptoms. And today we're going to talk a little bit about those and how you can help calm them down. Hello and welcome to this episode of Natter with Niamh. If you haven't come across me before, I am Niamh. I'm a women's confidence coach. I help women in all phases of life who feel maybe they're lost or alone, they're under stress, they feel anxious, and I help them to come back to themselves, to who they truly are. I'm also a Reiki master and a meditation facilitator. And today I want to continue talking about worry. Last week I talked about worry and how it is the addiction that we didn't know we had. And today I want to talk to you about how anxiety and worry shows up in the body and can actually make it worse, because then we have the physical symptoms to deal with too. And those physical symptoms can cause us more stress, more anxiety, more worry. Have you ever noticed that when you're worried about something, your heart rate quickens? You can sometimes feel your heartbeat. Sometimes, if you're worried enough, you might even get palpitations. Your breath quickens as well. Sometimes you seem to be gasping for air, or you find you can't breathe at all. When I was in the throes of anxiety, when I was having panic attacks, sometimes even just at the thought of having a panic attack, I would get this constriction around my ribs, around my chest. I would feel like somebody was drawing a belt in really tight and I couldn't breathe. I literally felt like I could not breathe, that I couldn't draw a breath in. Now I was breathing. I know I was breathing because I'd have been dead if I wasn't breathing. And when I first went to the GP with this symptom, they actually thought I was having a heart attack. And they sent me for all the tests. You know, I had EEGs, ECGs, you name it. You know, that one where you're lying with your tits flapped out to the sides and electrodes on you. Yeah, those. And stress tests. And they all came back normal. They told me your heart is perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with you. Nobody ever said to me, oh, you're having a panic attack. Maybe you're having a panic attack. Maybe it's worry that's causing this. That I found out through Mr. Google, Dr. Google. I realized that what was happening to me was not heart attacks. It was not physical symptoms of an illness as such. They were the symptoms of anxiety, of panic. Because when we think an anxious thought or we have a worry and we don't feel safe in our head, that triggers something in our bodies. We don't feel safe in our bodies. So it triggers the parasympathetic system, our fight or flight response, or sometimes even the freeze or fawn response. You find yourself paralyzed and you can't make a decision, you can't do anything. Or you say, if you're in the fawn response, you just say yes to things, even though you know you don't have the capacity to do them. We'll do another podcast on all of this. But for now, that if we come back to this worry, that it's triggered a worry, a thought has triggered a worry in our brain. Our brain adds this with stories. This triggers a physical response in the body. So we start to breathe quicker. Our heart starts to race because our body is preparing us for fight or flight. Our body is saying, ooh, something scary happening here. Snake, tiger, we're going to have to run. Bear, is there a bear? Maybe we can fight the bear. And because of this, our body is ready for us to fight or to run. And they're the symptoms we are feeling. And yes, this all makes sense when you hear it now. But when you're in that moment and your heart is racing and you can't catch your breath, I don't know about you, but I know my mind immediately went to heart attack, I'm having a heart attack, I'm going to die. And what do you think that does? Oh yes, our clever little brain starts us off down another little path, and we start looking for more symptoms. Oh, my palms are sweating now. Oh, my legs are shaking. Oh no, I feel really unwell. I feel awful. And so it continues. And then we start to get worried about the physical symptoms. And of course we're in that little cycle again, that circle. The more we worry, the more worries we have. The more worries we have, the more physical symptoms we have. The more physical symptoms we have, the more worries we have. Can you see where I'm going here? Do you recognize this in yourself? Can you see this pattern that you're unwittingly creating for yourself? Can you see how it can build up and build up and build up? So how do we stop it? There's no magic wand I can wave. There's no magic trick that's going to work. Just stop it in its tracks. It begins with noticing. Noticing either the physical sensations, which sometimes is easier, or noticing when that thought first pops into your mind and we start creating the stories. So maybe next time you're caught up in that cycle of worry, or you feel those physical symptoms, notice the symptoms and ask yourself what is really going on here. How am I reacting to this thought, to this physical symptom? What can you do in that moment to calm yourself down? You can maybe do a few deep breaths, maybe use a physiological sigh. I will put a link to a video that will teach you how to do that in the comments to this video, to this podcast, if I remember. If I don't, please do shout out to me. So there's a physiological sigh which works wonders. You can just take a few deep breaths. You can put your hands on your body. Touch puts us in touch. Touch brings us back into the moment, into the now. So just pressing your hand into your chest so that you feel some pressure, and holding it there for 30 seconds to a minute can really help to regulate yourself, to ground yourself, to bring you back to the present moment and out of your head and out of all those feelings in your body. Or you can do the look for 5 things that you can see, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can touch. There's lots of different ways and methods to bring yourself out of that moment. And they're not going to all work for you. Some will work for you, some won't. I have lots of tools in my tool bag. Lots of little, I won't call them tricks, but they are kind of tricks, because what we are doing in a way is tricking our brain. We're pulling it out of that worry. We're pulling our body back into its calm state, into the here and now, into the present. So if you want to have a conversation with me, if you want to learn about some of the things that might be useful for you, that helped me, please do drop me a message. I'm always open to having a chat. as those of you who will be on this, have been as guests on this podcast will know, I love chatting to people. I love hearing their stories, and I also love helping you and sharing the things that have helped me. So, is the physical symptom really something going on with your body? Is it a symptom of an illness? Or is it your body preparing for fight or flight because you've let your brain run away with imaginary stories of what might or might not be?